Hello, Raleigh. This is citizen reporter Robert Courts coming to you from the Your Backyard News Network. And I'm fortunate today to have my second interview with mayoral candidate Eugene Myrick. Mr. Myrick, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, I really appreciate citizens that stand up and advocate for other citizens and neighborhoods, and especially one who is willing to put himself out to run for mayor. That takes a special kind of person, and I appreciate you doing that.
Thank you.
Mr. Myrick.
Thank you. Thank you.
But today, with your permission, I would like to discuss some of the comments that you made at the city council earlier this week.
Sure.
And with your permission, I'll roll the tape.
Let's go.
But I find it very interesting that 4 city council members asked for a ceasefire. 4. Jane, Christina, Mary, and Megan, but only 2 are being called racist. And that's Mary Black, who's Black, and Christina, who's Latina X. But Megan, Jane, nobody's calling y'all racist. I guess y'all have the complexion for the protection. But meanwhile, when it comes to Black issues, right here in Raleigh, like Shaw University, you didn't have a problem voting for that. As the mayor steamrolls New Bern Avenue, you took the needle to that. You keep saying, Megan, we need to get it right. Turning Black neighborhoods white is not getting it right. You talk about urban renewal, once again, turning Black neighborhoods white is not getting it right.
So, Candidate Myrick, obviously, generally speaking, you're talking about the role big development plays in Raleigh.
Absolutely. And I promise you, this is a new shirt. That was actually just purple, just happened to be my favorite color.
Well, you look great in that.
Thank you. Thank you.
But as a citizen, I think many of us are concerned that there's unchecked development.
Absolutely.
Many council members seem to be giving development the rubber stamp. But these comments, can you specifically talk a little bit about what you said, that 4 candidates are spoke about the ceasefire, but only 2 are being called racist?
Right.
Who is calling these candidates racist?
Well, there seems to have been a backlash for the ceasefire, and specifically Christina Jones and Mary Black seem to be under attack. Mary Black, who is Black, and Christina Jones, who is Latina. So I just found it odd that, she, even with Mary Black, did not get the Democratic nomination, which she received before. And Christina Jones, although she did get the Wake County Democratic nomination, she now have people literally criticizing the Wake County Democrats for giving her the endorsement. And then you have what I saw, and I gave you a copy of the emails because I don't ever want to be accused of hearsay or gossip or anything, from the Wake County Democratic Party, specifically stating, letters where former mayors who have made endorsements literally endorsed one of my opponents in the race, but they also sent a letter to the Wake County Democratic Party asking them not to make endorsements. So it just seems like although the people are tired of the status quo is not tired of being in power. And then you even have, I believe, someone from one of the largest synagogues in the city attacking Christina and specifically Mary Black. She seems to be the main target in regards to, being called racist. Meanwhile, it was just a ask for a ceasefire resolution. 4 city council members asked for the ceasefire. I mean, I even came before, I'm not in office, but I came before city council and I said, we need a ceasefire resolution. Granted, the initial attack on Israel was terrible, but right now you have tens of thousands of children being killed. You have starvation taking place. Like it comes down, you have to have some sort of empathy, even if it's outside of the city of Raleigh.
Well, I'd like to go back. You said a lot there. So I believe it was the Indie Week that initially broke the story where like former mayors McFarland, Meeker, David Meeker, really a whole list of pro-development Democrats. And these are the Democrats that make their living or a big part of their living from development. And they wrote a letter to the Wake County Democratic Party asking them not to endorse any Wake County candidate. Is that your understanding?
That is my understanding, and it's ironic because I sat for the endorsement for the Democratic Party, Wake County Democratic Party. There's three of us in the race: myself, Janet Cowell, and Terrence Ruth. Of course, during the process, I felt like I was I had the best interview, if you want to call it that, and I felt like I had a common sense approach to most of the issues. But I said, well, you know what? They endorsed Terrence the last time; they'll probably endorse him again. But that wasn't the case, and it turns out, and I've had this conversation with a few other folks. It turns out that when they endorsed Terrence before over the current mayor, that created a rift. But and you even had the former chair of the Wake County Democratic Party, Mac Paul, sign on to that letter with the former mayors, and that was an eye opener to me, because Mac Paul is the attorney who represents majority of the developers. So I'm like, okay, so now it's all starting to make sense now.
Let me interrupt. So Mac Paul did sign on this. Oddly enough, when these endorsements started, Mac Paul was the one who started them. So it was fine when it started, and he had control of who was endorsed, and he could endorse his pro-development. But soon as the party has a different of opinion, these big development Democrats signed on to try to stop the endorsements, which this is a swing state.
Right.
And I think that it is, I was so befuddled and confused. Why would they take that risk when this is a swing state crucial to the Kamala Harris winning the presidency?
Well, because what I'm learning right now, I just said previously, many of us are tired of the status quo. That's why there's so many candidates in this mayoral race. That's why there's so many candidates in my neighborhood, specifically District C. We're tired of the status quo, but the status quo is not tired of being in power. I mean, I'm personally convinced that there are candidates in these races who are handpicked by the powers that be. I'm convinced that when my opponent, Janet Cowell, when she was asked to step down as state treasurer before conflict of interest, anybody can take a look. She was asked to step down as state treasurer because she didn't only have the job as state treasurer. She took a job for a company in RTP, and then she took a job for a company in Bermuda as the state treasurer.
I was unaware of that.
So she was asked to step down. I'll send you the article too, because I don't ever want to be accused of hearsay. I want to make sure you get that. But now she's back running for mayor. And when she announced that she was running for mayor, she had those 3 endorsements of 3 former mayors. And in addition to that, you have a gentleman named Mitchell Silver running against Mary Black. You know, Mitchell Silver had been gone for a while, and now he's come back. And if you take a look, I believe there was a story in the Indy Week with Mitchell Silver saying that there needs to be a stadium downtown in the heart of downtown. What's in the heart of downtown? Shaw University.
Right.
So I believe some of these people were handpicked. And if you go back to 2019, Mitchell Silver was one of the consultants with the Urban Land Institute study for Shaw University. So I believe that a couple of handpicked candidates by the powers that be. You're not, now don't call me crazy, Robert, but you know when Obama got elected and folks lost their mind and we ended up with Trump, I think when those 4 new city council members got elected, folks lost their mind out here, and they literally said we can't have this, and they went and dug up some handpicked candidates. Well, I'm saying folks is like, we can't go back with Trump. We can't go back with some of these people that the city want to get elected.
Well, you make a fine point here. When last election, when we got 4 new counselors committed to citizen engagement, average folks who decided to run, and they weren't expected to win, but they did, and they swept in. They brought a new attitude. They brought citizen engagement. And you're saying that worried the big powers to be in the Democratic Party.
Absolutely. Because no way. I mean, Janet was out here living her best life. She's over at Dix Park. Her and I don't know why she's trying to distance herself from Marianne Baldwin, because once again there's video of them over there in Dix Park talking about the sunflowers and the dog park, and it's 308 acres of land. You know what I'm saying? But we have homeless people out here. We have affordable housing issue out here. But those 4 new city council members, they kind of shook things up a little bit. And the powers that be was like, no, we can't have this. And so we're literally we're in danger. We are in danger of going back, because the powers that be are coming in, they pumping up that development money. And, you know, we don't know if we don't get this right. We don't know what Raleigh will look like 2 years from now.
Well, I agree with you. I'm concerned that these Democrats would attack the citizen-led, duly elected, but it's not just that. Once the McFarland and the Meekers and such, the Carter went worthy, and they wrote that letter, and the Democratic Party stood up, and the powers that be said, no, we will send the endorsement. But it wasn't enough for them. Seth Morris, who's an attorney with Parker Poe. Parker Poe's a big development law firm, filed an official complaint and went on again to try a second time to silence these women.
Well, and that's the irony. Like, it's only 2 people in the race, Christina Jones, and I can't think of the other gentleman's name, but his letter specifically goes after Christina, if I'm correct. Is this the letter that you're speaking? Yeah. So his letter says that the Wake County Democratic Party endorsed Christina over a more qualified candidate.
Right.
And I believe he signed his name as being a part of either the Wake County Democratic Party or the state Democratic Party. So it's like you're trying to use your position to sway the way endorsement should go. There's even an email in there, because I like receipts, as the young people say, where the current chair of the Wake County Democratic Party is saying she was offered $100,000 not to make endorsements.
Wow.
Now that I'm like, is that? I don't even know if that's legal. So I'm just wondering, like, was the powers that be that afraid of who the Wake County Democratic Party may have endorsed that they wanted to shut the whole system down?
Yes, I would like to read a little bit from some of the material you sent me. And this is from an email from the Wake County Democratic Party. And they're saying they were under pressure to skip all endorsements, including school board. They were offered money to skip endorsements. They endured harassments, threats, name calling, and insinuation of improper behavior, and a disinformation campaign. All of this done by local Democrats on the development side. They make their money in development. So I'm encouraged a little bit, though, that Christina, at least, Councilwoman Jones, she did receive the endorsement. The local Wake County Democratic Party stood up to this harassment and said they're going to follow the rules. And it's my understanding that at the end, Mr. Morris, Meeker, the McFarland, in a sense, lost. But it's a huge embarrassment for the party. Now I understand why some people say, I don't know why I'm a Democrat. That's what they say. They don't know why. And you have to take that long look at, like, we have some cleaning up to do. I'm not switching affiliation. You know what I'm saying? I've been a lifelong Democrat. The Black community has always supported the Democrats. But when you are putting out a ticket that will harm the Black community, you have to take a long look at that. But I'm one of those people. I'm in it for the long haul. I didn't just jump in this race to be in it one time. Of course, I'm in it to win it. But there will be some changes that we have to make on moving forward as a community. One thing that I've already started telling even the churches that I visit, even nonprofit organizations, like, you might be a nonprofit and you may be a church, but you need to consider creating your own PAC.
because a lot of these other organizations, a lot of these other religions, they have PACs. The Jewish community created a PAC. The Palestinians created a PAC. It's time for these black churches to start creating PACs in order to not only say I'm going to support certain candidates, but it's expensive. The signs behind me, the handouts, the yard signs that's on every other side of the road, all of that stuff, it costs. So it's going to be time for all these organizations to start creating PACs because our communities are under siege.
Right. If we, as a citizens, want candidates who are transparent, who engage with citizen engagement, who want to lead with a servant's heart, we, the people, we, the citizens, have to organize and get together, because big money is after our candidates. They want to push their people into power so that they can steamroll Raleigh or whatever city you live in into their image and not the citizens' image.
Yeah. And I don't know, like we were at a matter of fact, it may have been a Democratic forum when I said, if you want to know who a candidate is going to support, look at who gives them money. And I don't know if Janet Cowell got offended, but you know, she said at that time, this was about 2 months ago, she said only 10% of her 600 donors are developers. Now, I know I only have an HBCU education, but 10% of 600 is 60. And if 60 developers giving you the max of $6,400, that's $384,000. So that was 2 months ago. And I think the other day a question came up when we were at another forum about developers, and I think she mentioned 10% of her 750 donors. So it's like, you know, I'm asking folks for small donations to fund this campaign. If we all do a little bit, we can accomplish a lot. And at the end of the day, I'm telling folks, don't be afraid of the money, because even if that's 60 developers, I don't even know if they live here. So that wouldn't even be 60 votes. So at the end of the day, you still have to be encouraged, and you still have to continue to spread the word for the candidate you support and get out there and vote.
Well, Mr. Myrick, I am encouraged that there are citizens out there that will stand up for the right thing for our city. And I'm encouraged by your race, Mr. Myrick. You are standing up for people, and that takes a lot of guts and courage. So let me be the first one to say thank you for representing the average citizen.
Thank you. Thank you. I truly appreciate it.
You're welcome back anytime. We hope to speak with you soon. This is a breaking story. I feel like there's going to be more to come. Before we go, please tell us how anybody interested in supporting a candidate with a servant's heart gets in touch with your campaign.
Sure. It's my name. Well, my last name, myrick4mayor.com. Myrick for Mayor on all social media platforms. And we're doing some canvassing, we're doing some door knocking, we're doing literature drop, and all small donations help. And I truly appreciate the opportunity to speak with you again, Robert.
Well, I look forward to it. Raleigh, there are great candidates out there looking to serve your needs. I highly recommend you take 5 minutes, check out Eugene Myrick for Mayor, give him a $50, $100, and follow him. Show up for him, canvass for him. We, Raleigh, the citizens, need your help. So thank you, and thank you, Mr. Myrick.
Thank you so much. Good night, brother.